We're going to demonstrate proper COVID-19 personal protection equipment procedures, putting on and removing PPE using CDC's guidelines from April 2020 to help you and your patients stay safe. First, gather all your supplies. You should have hand sanitizer, gown, mask or respirator, goggles or face shield, and an adequate receptacle to put them in. Always go slowly and methodically. If you're unfamiliar with the equipment, please consider having a partner watch or assist you on both the donning, putting on your PPE, and the doffing process, taking off your PPE. Step 1. Hand hygiene. Sanitize your hands with alcohol-based hand rub. Always wait until your hands are completely dry before proceeding to the next step. Do not air dry your hands. Rub until dry. This should take 20 seconds or sing 2 nursery rhymes. Step 2. Putting on your gown. First, review your gown to be sure there are no rips or tears. If there are, get a new gown. Put your gown on. Fully cover your torso from your neck to your knees, arms to the end of your wrists, and wrap around your back. Fasten in the back of the neck and at the waist. Do not leave one or the other or both ties untied. You will contaminate if you do. Step 3. Your mask or respirator. Place your face mask on, secure the ties or the elastic bands around the ears for face masks, or at the middle of the head, the crown, and the base of the neck for your respirators. Fit the flexible band to your nose and pull the mask securely below your chin. If you are wearing a respirator, fit check your N95. Step 4. Your face shield or your goggles. Place your face shield or goggles over your face and eyes. If you're using goggles, be sure not to slide the earpieces under the elastic. It'll be easier to remove later. Adjust your fit. Step 5. Gloves. If your gown has thumb hooks, insert your thumbs now. If your gown does not have thumb hooks, you have the option of creating them. Then put your gloves on so that they securely cover the wrists of your gown. Be sure your gown is secure under your gloves. Verify. After completing the donning process, check the integrity of your PPE, making sure there are no cuts, no tears. Go through a range of motion to ensure that there's sufficient range of motion in all areas of the body so that you may proceed to patient care. You are now ready for patient care. When doing patient care, always use the CDC's safe work practices. These practices will help protect you and limit the spread of contamination. Keep your hands away from your face. Do not readjust your face mask or your face shield while doing patient care. Limit the surfaces you touch. That includes your hands and your body. Change your gloves when they become torn or heavily contaminated. But remember, perform hand hygiene between changes. Now, we will use example 1 to begin doffing our PPE. Step 1. Inspect your PPE for visible contamination, cuts, and tears before you start to remove. If your gowns or glove are heavily soiled, consider wiping them down using a wipe such as Cavi wipes before starting the doffing process. Remember to touch clean to clean, dirty to dirty, and go slow. It is highly recommended to perform hand hygiene between each step. Remove gloves. The outside of your gloves are contaminated, so be sure you use very good glove-in-glove technique. Using a gloved hand, grasp the palm of the other hand and peel off the first glove. Then hold removed glove in your gloved hand. and slide your clean finger of your ungloved hand under the remaining glove at the wrist. Peel off the second glove over the first. Discard gloves. Perform hand hygiene. Remove goggles or face shield. The outside of your goggles or face shield is contaminated. Remove goggles or face shield from the back by lifting the headband or the earpieces. Avoid touching the front surface. If the item is reusable, place in a designated area. Otherwise, discard in waste container. Perform hand hygiene. Remove gown. The gown front and the sleeves are contaminated. To remove, reach behind your head to release the top closure. Do not allow the sleeves to touch your face or your head. Do not allow bare hands to touch the front of the gown. Reach to the back to pop and untie the waist in the back. Do not touch the ties in the front. Reach behind your neck on the back of the gown and start to peel the gown off, turning it inside out. Since you have bare hands, only touch the inside of the gown. Roll the gown inside out away from you. Drop in the waste container. Perform hand hygiene. Remove mask or respirator. This should be done outside of the patient room. The front of the mask and the respirator are contaminated. Once you are outside of the room, reach behind your head to remove the ties or the elastic of the mask or respirator and slowly lean forward to allow the mask or respirator to drop off your face without touching the front. Perform hand hygiene. This is the second example of doffing presented by the CDC. This example is good choice if the sleeves of the gown are heavily contaminated and it works well with gowns that have thumb holes. Inspect. First, inspect the PPE for visible contamination, cuts or tears before starting removal. If the gown or gloves are heavily soiled, consider wiping them down with a wipe such as a cavi wipe before starting doffing. As a general principle, remember to touch clean to clean, dirty to dirty, and go slow. It is highly recommended to perform hand hygiene between each step of doffing. Remove gown and gloves. The front of your gown, as well as the sleeves and gloves, are contaminated. Remove the gown and gloves together. Be sure that the gown has ties that can be popped or broken. Start by breaking the waist tie. Grab the front of the gown at the waist and pull forward in a controlled manner. Then grab the gown at the front of the shoulders to break the top tie in a controlled manner. Now, turn the gown inside out as you remove it. You can touch the outside of the gown with the gloved hand. Once you have a hand partially out and have the inside of the sleeve exposed, consider it clean and you can touch the inside of the gown. Roll the gown off, turning it inside out, rolling it away from you. As you are rolling the gown up, remove the gloves and drop the gown and gloves in the waste container. Perform hand hygiene. Remove goggles or face shield. The outside of your goggles or face shield is contaminated. Remove goggles or face shield from the back by lifting the headband or the earpieces. Avoid touching the front surface. If the item is reusable, place in the designated area. Otherwise, discard in the waste container. Perform hand hygiene. Remove your mask or respirator. This should be done outside of the patient room. Allow the mask or respirator to drop off your face without touching the front. You may want to perform this step over the waste container. Thank you for watching, and please stay safe out there. We appreciate you.